It rained that night. The kind of rain that felt familiar, like the kind that fell the night she first met him on that rooftop in Busan. Suzy sat by the window, his letters spread across the table. The city outside was quiet, but inside her chest, a storm had started again. Each letter had a date. Each carried a piece of his soul. She read them one by one, her heart breaking and mending at the same time. The first letter was written in winter. Dear Suzy, I saw your photo today, the one from your magazine cover. You looked beautiful, but tired. Sometimes, I wish the world would stop asking so much of you. You have a light that should never burn out, yet this industry loves to take without giving back. I hope you still smile when no one's watching. That's the smile I remember best. She touched the paper gently. His handwriting had small tremors, like snowflakes barely holding together. Another letter followed, written just days later. The doctor says I should rest. I told him I can't, not yet. There's still so much I want to do. So many people I want to see again. Sometimes I think about our first talk. You said I let moments breathe. I've been thinking, maybe I do that because I never had enough of them. I wish I had one more with you. Her breath hitched. Each line felt like a confession that arrived too late. She opened another, dated just weeks before his passing. The ink was faint, the paper unevenly folded, as if written in a hurry. Dear Suzy, I've been staying home lately. My mother says the house feels too quiet, so I keep the TV on, even when I'm not watching. Sometimes your voice comes through a song, an interview, or a scene. I never change the channel. It feels like company. I'm not sure you'll ever read these. Maybe I'm just writing for myself. Maybe that's enough. Suzy smiled through tears. She whispered to herself, You weren't writing for yourself, you were writing for me. There were more. One for every month since they'd met. Some short, others long, but all carrying the same heartbeat. If I ever disappear from the world, promise me you'll still look at the moon. Because I will too. Even if I'm not there, we'll be under the same sky. She set that one aside, her chest tightening. The moon. He'd always mentioned it. It was the symbol that followed them, in their photo shoots, in their jokes, even in that first conversation on the rooftop. The next letter was different. Longer. More emotional. Suzy, I've been meaning to tell you something, but every time I try, I stop. Maybe because words feel too small. Maybe because I'm afraid. You once said I made silence feel safe. But that's only because you filled it with peace. You're the calm after every storm, the warmth after every long winter. If there's a universe where time is kind, I hope we meet there again, with no cameras, no distance, just two people who finally got it right. She pressed her hand against her mouth, her body trembling. It wasn't a love letter, not in the traditional sense, but it was everything love was supposed to be, gentle, patient, unconditional. She reached the final letter, the one he never sent. The one she had found sealed at the bottom of the box. The handwriting was uneven, as if written through pain. To the girl who reminds me that the world can still be soft. Thank you. For your kindness. For your laugh. For the way you made this tired world feel alive again. I don't know if we were meant to be together, but I know this. Meeting you was no accident. You were the quiet miracle I didn't think I deserved. If tomorrow never comes, I hope you live fully. I hope you smile for both of us. Don't mourn me too long. I'll rest better knowing you're chasing the sunlight. Yours, always in silence, Menglong. By the time she finished, tears fell freely down her face. They weren't the tears of heartbreak. They were tears of release. For months, she had been trapped in grief, wondering if what she felt had been real. Now, through his words, she knew. It was real. Every glance, every letter, every silence, it was love. She closed her eyes and whispered, I'm smiling, Menglong. I promise. The rain outside softened into drizzle, and in that quiet moment, she could almost feel him there. Not in the way ghosts linger, but in the way love does. Unseen, but never gone. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more touching K-drama stories and emotional news-style narratives. It was early morning when Suzy decided to leave the city. She hadn't planned it. She just woke up with a quiet need to go somewhere that wasn't crowded, somewhere she could breathe. She packed lightly, the letters still inside their worn-out box, and drove toward the sea. The same sea where they had first met, Busan. The sky was a pale blue, half hidden by clouds. The wind smelled like salt and old stories. When she stepped out of the car, the world felt still, as if waiting for her to speak first. She walked until the sand met her feet. The waves came and went, calm, endless, eternal, like time itself. Suzy sat on the sand, opened the box, and carefully laid the letters beside her. They fluttered gently in the breeze, the inked words shimmering under morning light. She read a few lines again, her voice barely above a whisper. If tomorrow never comes, please know, you are my peace. She closed her eyes and let the sound of the waves fill the silence between them. In that moment, it no longer hurt the same way. The pain had softened into something else, something tender. I'm here, she whispered. I came back, just like you asked. The world seemed to answer with a gust of wind that brushed her hair across her face, soft, almost playful, like someone's invisible hand tucking it behind her ear. Suzy smiled. For the first time in months, she truly smiled. Then she took one of the letters, the first one he ever wrote, and held it over the water. This one's yours, she said softly. You wrote it for me, but I think it belongs to the sea now. The paper drifted away, dancing over the waves before disappearing beneath them. One by one, she released them, each letter a memory, a goodbye, a quiet promise. When only the last letter remained, the final one, the one he never sent, she held it close to her heart. Don't mourn me too long. I'll rest better knowing you're chasing the sunlight. Tears fell again, but they weren't heavy. They were light, like rain in spring, a release, not a burden. I'm chasing it now, she whispered. I'll keep chasing it. She folded the letter carefully and placed it back in the box. Instead of sending it away, she buried it in the sand, marking the spot with a single seashell. The sea breeze carried the faint scent of cherry blossoms, impossible for the season, yet somehow, she smelled it. And she knew, wherever he was at peace. Weeks later, the entertainment world buzzed again. Suzy had quietly released a new single, her first in nearly a year. It wasn't a love song. It was something deeper. The melody was slow, simple, a mix of Korean and Mandarin lyrics. The title? Tomorrow the Sea. The lyrics whispered like a confession. You once said spring was short, but I still see it twice a year. Once when the flowers bloom, and once when I think of you. The song spread quietly online. Fans called it her most emotional work ever. Pure, raw, and comforting. Few knew its story. Fewer understood the meaning behind the line. You were my peace. But those who did, the ones who had followed the rumors, who remembered the way Yu Menglong once looked at her during that photo shoot, they knew. It wasn't just a song. It was a goodbye, a thank you, and a promise. A year later, spring returned to Seoul. Cherry blossoms painted the city pink again, fleeting, fragile, beautiful. Suzy walked through the park one morning, a cup of coffee in hand, her eyes following the petals that fell like snow. She stopped under one tree, reached up, and caught a petal in her palm. Hey, she said quietly. I kept my promise. I saw spring twice. The wind answered softly, warm, gentle, like a familiar breath against her cheek. She smiled. It wasn't a smile of sadness anymore. It was peace, the kind that comes after surviving something beautiful and painful at the same time. Suzy looked up at the sky, pale blue, endless, and whispered one last time. Thank you, Menglong, for the letters you never sent. The camera would fade out there, the wind carrying the petals away, the sea glimmering in the distance, and her soft smile staying just a little longer before the screen turned to black. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more touching K-drama stories and emotional news-style narratives.